Greetings, all, Sir Sparky here, and today I'm about to give you all a cartoon character duo review on Mike and Sully. Well, actually, their actual names are Mike Wazowski and James P. Sullivan. You see, in the movie Monsters Incorporated from 2001, they live in a place called Monstropolis. There, they harness the screams of human children for energy. Well, let's just say they use the skilled monsters employed as scarers. And the Monsters Inc. CEO, Henry J. Waternoose III, is considered about declining energy productions as children are becoming less easily scared. Ain't that something? You see, Mike and Sully went to the factory. There, Mike had a date with his girlfriend, Sylvia. And also they ran into their rival, Randall Boggs. And let's just say he wanted to be the top scarer. Well, everything was going great at first until when Sully went back, he found a door. And next thing you know, a little girl came to the monster world. They call her Boo. Well, let's just say things got a little hand at the restaurant. And next thing you know, the CDA agents arrive and quarantine the restaurant. They managed to hide girl at Mike's place. Well, actually, they disguised her as a monster. Well, let's just say things were crazy at first until they found out that Randall created a device that could suck the scream of children. But it turns out Waternoose was on it too, and he banished Mike and Sully to the Himalayas. That's when they met the abominable snowman. But luckily, Sully managed to find a village and open the door and rescue Boo. Well, let's just say things got a little bit insane at first, but they managed to defeat Randall and managed to capture Waternoose in the act. But it turns out there was another CDA agent involved, and it was Roz. It turns out she was undercover, but they managed to return Boo back to the human world, and then they used laughter as energy. And boy howdy, things got a little bit funny at first. Even Mike then reveals to Sully that he rebuilt Boo's door, allowing Sully to reunite with Boo. Boy, ain't that something. In fact, they made another movie called Monsters University from 2013. It tells about how Mike and Sully met in college. You see, Mike Wazowski was young when he visited Monsters Incorporated, and he was great at first. Next you know, he arrived at MU. That's where he met Randall Boggs. Well, they were roommates. And next you know, they were doing a final exam. And next you know, that's when Sully arrived. Turns out he was the son of a famous scarer. Well, let's just say things got a little bit crazy at first at the college. The next thing you know, Mike and Sully end up in Uzma Kappa, while Randall, on the other hand, ended up at the Roar. Whew. Boy, ain't that something. Well, let's just say they were prepared for the scare. But things got a little bit challenging at first. The next thing you know, let's just say they cheated at the end of the game. But Mike later discovers that Sully had rigged the game. Whew, boy, was that terribly something. The next thing you know, Mike ended up at a summer cabin, and things got a little bit out of hand. The next thing you know, they got themselves expelled. But at the end, they worked at a post office and ended up at Monsters Incorporated, and that's when the fun began. And on the other hand, they made a series about it called Monsters at Work. That was before the day after Henry J. Waternoose III was arrested. So Mike and Sully had other plans by using lab power. But next thing you know, a freshman named Tyler Tussman graduated from Monsters University. He came to the work at Monsters Incorporated. You see, it's season 1. That's when the fun begins. You see, that's when Tyler met an old friend of his named Ma Little, who works with a construction crew called Mift. And next thing you know, they work for Fritz. And then there's Duncan P. Anderson and Catherine Strain, also known as Cutter. And there was another one named Banana Bread. Well, actually, his real name was Winchester. Well, you get the general idea. Let's just say things got okay at first. Well, then next thing you know, Mike run a school called Mike's Comedy Class. And in season 2, let's just say Tyler's new job as a jokester was great. Until he came to the homecoming at Monsters University. Well, things got out of hand. And next thing you know, they ended up at Creep Show to benefit Laugh Energy, but they've been sabotaged. And next thing you know, they discovered some mysteries. And there was this guy by the name of Roger. But it turns out his real name was Henry J. Waternoose IV. The next thing you know, Tyler had to work with Mike and Sully, his old rival, Johnny. And it turns out he was a saboteur. But he wasn't alone. The one who was stealing energy was none other than their arch enemy, Randall Boggs. And next thing you know, he mixed with both energy and laughter And let's just say it was a dangerous combination. But they managed to save the day. And next you know, both Tyler and Val became a comedy duo. Let's just say I am happy with that. But there were some parts of season 2 that I didn't like. I wish they would have fixed every scene of it. Let's just say it would have been better. Tell me what you viewers think.